It was Saturday morning. Grandpa was flipping pancakes. Mom was making orange juice, and we were sitting around the table telling jokes. All of a sudden, a pancake hit Henry in the face, and we all laughed, even Grandpa. Nothing out of the ordinary happened after that.
That night, Grandpa told us a bedtime story about a faraway town across many mountains and oceans called Chew and Swallow. It was just like any other small town with a main street, homes, businesses, people, and pets. But it lacked a grocery store. The sky provided any food or drink they could ever want 3 times a day.
It rained soup and juice, snowed mashed potatoes, and blew in storms of burgers.
The Weather Channel would inform the people of what they were going to have that day and predict next day's meals. When the people went outside, they carried their dinnerware to be prepared for all types of food and liquids. If there were any leftovers, they saved them for later.
The menu is never the same. In the morning, it would already have rained orange juice with clouds bringing in eggs and toast. Butter and jelly were also provided for the toast with a shower of milk.
For lunch, hot dogs in their buns and mustard clouds blew in with a swift wind. Then, the wind shifted and brought in hamburgers. A drizzle of soda was also provided. For dinner, it rained lamb chops with ketchup, peas, and mashed potatoes. Jell-O appeared from the east. The sanitation department had an unusual job. They cleaned up the food that fell on houses, sidewalks, and lawns and fed them to nearby cats and dogs. What the cats and dogs didn't eat, they fed to sea animals. The rest was used as fertilizer in people's yards. Things were looking great until they weren't. The weather took a turn for the worse.
One day, it rained nothing but stinky cheese. The next, there was only nasty, overcooked broccoli. The next day was only Brussels sprouts and peanut butter with mayonnaise. Another day, the pea soup fog was so thick that no one could find anything else to eat.
As the weather got worse, the food got larger and larger. The people of Chew and Swallow were afraid. It stormed frequently and awful things began to happen. One Tuesday, there was a hurricane of bread and rolls. No one had ever seen bread or rolls that large before. The people were so scared they had to stay inside. Their houses were damaged, and the sanitation department was in shock. It took them days to clean up the mess. To help the sanitation department, the people stacked bread in their backyards to eat, but not even the birds could eat it all. One morning, there was a storm of pancakes and maple syrup. A huge pancake landed on the school, and it was so heavy they couldn't lift it. They had to close the school. A salt and pepper wind hit the town, followed by a tomato tornado. Everyone began sneezing and running to avoid the tomatoes. The town was covered in seeds.
The job to clean up the mess became so big that the sanitation department decided to quit. The people were so afraid because they couldn't leave their houses. Even their houses were being damaged by massive meatballs. Things were becoming so bad, a decision was made to leave Chew and Swallow. It was a matter of life and death.
The people used peanut butter to glue the stale sandwich bread together and create a raft. They took the necessities and set sail for a new home. After a week floating in the ocean, they found a new home. The bread they used for ships held up well enough to build temporary houses. The children were able to go back to school, and the adults tried to adjust to their new home. One major challenge was buying food at the grocery store. They found it odd that food did not come from the sky, but in packages on a shelf. They even had to prepare the food. They eventually became familiar with regular weather patterns, and no one was hit with food again. No one knows what happened to Chew and Swallow because they were too afraid to go back.
We stayed awake until the end of the story. When we woke up the next morning, it was snowing. After breakfast, we went sledding with Grandpa. We imagined the snow was mashed potatoes.